So, as a creative over the years, I've been in many rooms where we have discussions about different things, and every now and again, money comes up, and every now and again, someone will say something that just isn't true. And I genuinely believe that some of these belief systems are what are holding us back from breaking this idea of the starving artist. So, today I'm going to look at 5 money myths to stop believing if you want success, right? So, number one is cutting back on Starbucks will give me success. Maybe you have 1,500 different cups a day, and that amount is going to shift your life if you're going to stop it, but the chances are it's not. And the problem with that thinking is, and I do get it, the idea is reduce your spending, which will give you capacity for more. The only problem with that is it's limited. So if you imagine you're shaving off increments as you go in your spending, but you're ultimately getting closer to what I call your survival budget. Now, your survival budget is your accommodation, your travel, your food, those kind of basic things that you need to live. And you're basically getting closer to that, which means at some point you're going to have to stop. And then what will you do? A better process is taking the same energy you would take to budget and reduce your spending and put it into increasing your income. Now, that can look by changing your clientele to people who can actually afford more from what you're already doing. It might mean applying for a different job, which will give you a higher role, for example, with a higher income capacity, learning a new skill, which means that you'll be able to either perform better in sales or marketing or get more clients and things like that. That is much more likely to allow you to have the things that you desire than to reduce the things and just get closer to your survival budget, which ends up being it's a slippery slope, and it's crazy because sometimes we can find ourselves cutting off things that actually have an impact on our wellness. So that's number one. Number two is money is the root of all evil, and I know we've had conversations around this before, but it's never too much to reiterate. It's the love of money that's the root of all evil, according to scripture, right? But even side to that, what I realized would be in spaces with people who do have a lot of money is that they look at money as a tool, which really it is. They talk about money in the same way as you talk about a chair or a table. It has a function, and it's what you do with it that has impact, whether it be positive or negative. So as a tool, it's not, which means that it's actually more important how we use money than the idea of how much we have. Number three is money doesn't grow on trees. First of all, it used to, right? So before they started using polymers, notes were made by paper. Paper came from trees. Boom. But if you think about the idea of a money tree, they would usually have the notes at the end of the branches. And the idea about that is abundance. The idea from the term is that money isn't just infinite, like it's not in abundance, but it actually is. Nowadays in 2023, when this is being recorded, money is quite literally digitized. So you have countries who create money on computers, which means that it is infinite, which is really important for the next one, which is number four. Billionaires existing is what makes people poor, which means that it's not true. For that to happen, it means that there is a finite number of resources that the billionaires have access to, and because of that, then there's nothing left over. But like I just said, we've come a long way from bartering services, which money used to be, right? So I want something that you have, and I would exchange for that. But the problem is, it got to a point where what happens if I don't have anything that you want? Am I going to go around the whole village and keep exchanging until I have something you want? And then by the time I get it, you might not have it anymore. Or I might have to like cut it in half because you only need half of it and all this kind of stuff. We needed something which was a common denominator between everything that everyone saw as valuable, that is what we exchange, and that's how notes are formed. But different communities had different things. We had cowrie shells, and obviously there's things like bars of gold still. But the idea is that now things are digitized. There's not a finite resources, which means that the existence of billionaires isn't what is creating poverty, right? And then the last one is you can't put a price on art. And I think this one is something we as creatives definitely need to shake off by thinking about it a different way. One of the ways I would use, and it's a loose example, so bear with me, is that even today, I don't mind sharing this, but I was brought to tears by a song, right? And the release I got from that music was, I would say, about the same as the release I got from a few sessions of therapy last year. Now, if I was to quantify that and say that this song, for me, the value of it is about the same as 3 therapy sessions, then that means that £75 times 3 is what the value of this song is for me. You can apply that to anything. So if I'm talking about a dance class and I'm gonna say that, oh, I'm charging £10 an hour, but really the value to what I'm doing is worth more to these people. So they the value to them is the price of a gym subscription. It's the price of what they put on having the energy and the joy and the joie de vie to spend time with their newborn child, right? Those kind of things, when you look at value and trying to find equivalent outcomes with what we do, is one way to put a measurable value on what we do as artists. So just to recap on what we said there, 5 money myths to stop believing in to create room for success is: number 1, cutting back on Starbucks. It's not about reducing your spending, it's about increasing your income. Number 2 is money is the root of all evil. No, it's not. It's actually just a tool, and it's what you do with it that has impact, positive or negative. Number 3 is money doesn't grow on trees. It used to, but also in terms of abundance, money isn't a finite resource anymore. It's not tangible, so it's actually infinite anyway. Number 4, linked to the last one, billionaires existing makes people poor. It doesn't, because we're not using finite resources anymore. But it's actually better to just increase the value, the skills value of the people who don't have it. And number 5 is you can't put a price on art. Yes, you can. You just need to find an equivalent outcome in another sector, for example, and see what people are paying for that outcome, whether it's for wellness, whether it's for perspective, whether it's for health, wealth, relationships. All these kind of things are what we do as artists. We create room for that, so we can find the price that other people will pay. What am I missing? Let me know in the comments, and make sure to save this and come back to it later. There's another one in here: money can't buy love, but I'm not even going to touch that.